What if I told you that right now, on top of your head, there are about 100,000 tiny factories? They never clock out, they never take a holiday, and every single one is quietly asking the same question: what would happen if you just let them run forever? So, let's find out. No haircut, not one. For the rest of your life, what actually happens? First, you need to understand something weird. Your hair is already dead. The only living part is the root, buried in your scalp, in a little pocket called a follicle. Everything you can see, the stuff you brush, wash, and style, is technically a long strand of dead cells being pushed out of your head. So yeah, you're basically a plant. And like a plant, it grows on a schedule. On average, hair grows about a centimeter a month, roughly half an inch. That doesn't sound like much, but over a year, that's 6 inches. Over 10 years, that's 5 feet of hair. So why isn't everyone walking around with hair down to the floor? Here is the secret almost nobody knows. Your hair doesn't grow continuously forever. Each strand lives on a cycle with 3 phases. Phase 1, the growth phase, where the follicle actively pumps out hair. This lasts anywhere from 2 to 7 years, depending on your genetics. Then, phase 2, a short transition, where the follicle shuts down production. And phase 3, the resting phase, where the strand just hangs on for a while before it falls out, and a brand new hair starts growing to replace it. The first phase, the growth phase, is the whole game. Its length is written into your DNA, and it decides one crucial number: your terminal length, the maximum length any single hair can reach before it gives up and falls out. And for most people, that terminal length lands somewhere between the waist and the hip. For a rare few with a very long growth phase, hair can reach the knees or even the floor. So if you have ever tried to grow your hair super long and felt like it just stopped at a certain point, it wasn't your imagination, and it wasn't damage either. You literally hit your genetic ceiling. So back to our experiment. You stop cutting. For the first few years, things go great. Your hair gets longer and longer, and it feels like it might never stop. But eventually, strand by strand, you start hitting that terminal length. The oldest hairs reach their limits and shed, replaced by new ones starting from zero. Your hair stops getting dramatically longer and settles into a maximum length that's uniquely yours. But, and this is where it gets a little gross, that assumes you are still taking care of it. What happens if you truly never cut it and never maintain it? The enemy isn't length, it's time. The tip of a very long strand of hair might be several years old, and that tip has been through everything. Every shower, every brush, every gust of wind, every hour of sunlight. All of that slowly wears away the protective outer layer of the hair, like weather eroding a rock. The result is split end, breakage, and a dry, fried tip. This is called weathering, and it's why the ends of long hair often look thinner and rougher than the root. And if you never brush it either, the loose hair that are supposed to shed have nowhere to go. Instead of falling out, they get tangled in the hairs around them. Over time, they knot, mat, and fuse into thick rope-like clumps. Left completely alone, human hair will naturally form dreadlock. It's not a hairstyle at that point, it's just physics. Your hair is doing what any pile of long, thin fibers does when you never separate them. So, could you in theory grow record-breaking floor-dragging hair? A few people actually have. The longest documented human hair on record belonged to a woman in China and was measured at over 5 meters long. Yes, that's more than 16 feet. To reach that, she reportedly stopped cutting her hair as a teenager and kept growing it for decades. She essentially won the genetic lottery, an extraordinarily long growth phase plus obsessive care to keep the ancient ends from breaking off. Because that's the twist. Growing hair that long isn't about doing more. It's about doing almost nothing to it while protecting it from everything. Every haircut resets the clock and removes the oldest, most damaged hair. Never cutting means the very tips of your hair might be older than some of your relationships. So, here is what actually happens if you never cut your hair ever. For a few years, it grows. Then, if you never brush it, it knots itself into natural dreadlocks and keeps going as a matted rope as long as you live. You won't turn into Rapunzel. Your own DNA already decided years ago exactly how long your hair is allowed to get. The only real question right now is whether you ever choose to find out. Let us know in the comments.